live.
Hey, 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 what's up? What's up? Yo, what is poppin'? What's going on?
Man, Jaleel working, huh?
Jaleel, hey now, how you doing? Putting up this here ceiling fan.
Go handle y'all, Bill. I'm gonna mute
Yeah,
my mic.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on? You working? Working hard, huh?
I work smarter, not harder nowadays. But
The goal. That is the goal.
I had told
I,
Rich he probably catch me working.
what's on the
But
agenda? What you got on your mind today, Jaleel?
I guess Rich wanted to talk about crime and gun violence, crime, and I guess he want to man up youth program and the Peacekeepers global initiative to speak on it. 15 minutes or
Okay.
so he said. So that's what I'm here for.
Give us your Easter speech.
It's an Easter speech.
Definitely not an Easter speech. We don't celebrate them pagan holidays.
Sure don't. But look, um, I know there's been a lot of groups coming out of the woodworks trying to get some funding for the gun violence and crime. And, I ain't mad at them, but I would request if they want the money, hit the streets with us and really come talk to the people that's doing the damage. We got enough desk people doing paperwork, and people in front of the cameras always giving speeches. We need some foot soldiers now. People that hit the block, be willing to get cussed out and still smile and try to help solve some issues and conflict and try to make the community safer and better. That's what we need. But I was sent an email where they said it was 59 groups asking for opera fund dollars for gun violence and crime. And I said, we got 59 groups. It ain't no way we should have no gun violence and crime. If all 59 groups on the streets in Flint is only 36 square miles, if we all on the streets in Flint together, oh, we won't even need the police. We can handle it.
So let me get this straight. So we have 59 organizations that are all trying to throw their name into the hat for these ARPA funds for gun violence. You got to be
And
kidding
crime.
me.
Gun violence and crime.
59 groups.
Yeah, and I got the email as they say, bring the receipts and the documents. I got the email. I got two of them. And I thought they meant 59 groups total of different variations of people trying to get funding, but they said 59 groups strictly on gun violence and crime alone. I said, oh my goodness. Don't you know 59 groups trying to deal with gun violence and crime, if we was working together, it probably would be one murder a month.
Nine groups will work together. Damn, the 59. If just nine would work together, we could
Man,
solve a whole lot of problems.
cause it gotta be some of the people in them 59 groups gotta have some bad little children, grandchildren, nephews, nieces, or cousins that they can tap into and get them to straighten up. They got to. 59 groups. I want
Half
to
of
know
them are
what
probably
I
their
need.
children.
I was trying to get the names, where they at.
Yeah.
A couple of them
As you
said
should.
who they were. A couple of them said who they were and claimed they've been out here doing stuff for a long time. And I told them, if the people in the streets don't know who you are, even if you doing something, you really ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because the people who you really need to get to, if they don't know you, you not affecting them. But if you go to the
Jaleel,
hood, you can go to the dope man, the drag racers, the hit men, and all of them, and ask them about man up in Peacekeepers. They gonna tell you, I know them. They be out here. We be hollering at them. Now, do they listen all the time? I don't. I'm like you. I'm transparent 100. A lot of them hard headed as I don't know what. So, but we keep trying. We don't give up.
Well, tell me what it is that you do, that you all do when you're out there. When you say you out there and you go hit the streets and you talking to them, what exactly is it that you're doing? Can you just, just let the people, enlighten the people, so that maybe, if you give a little more insight on exactly what you do when you go out there, maybe we can get some of these people to volunteer and go out as well. So can you just give us an idea of what you would do on the day that you would go out into these
Okay.
neighborhoods?
So to give you an example, we got people know it's a war going on in the streets right now, and I don't want to get into the particulars, but the young people involved and the people that's been dying, one of the sides of the people reached out to us to try to get a conflict resolution before more body counts come up. So what we do is we go seek out and find the ones causing the trouble, the conflict, and taking each other out, and we try to bring them to a neutral place and have a conflict resolution where we can get them to put the guns down, give us their word they're gonna make peace, and they won't go after each other no more. So no other parents, grandparents, uncles, and aunties can be crying at a funeral. That's one thing we do. The other thing we do on random, we may go out to the Regency, or we may go to the area where the most conflict and issues are happening, and we try to find the people who are most involved in making the mischief, and we try to talk to them to convince them that it would be better to make their community a safe place to live, so that their mother and grandmother, sisters and brothers and cousins can walk up and down the street and come in the hood without worrying about dying. So we do that, and we do that randomly. We go out, we go to the Regency every first and third Saturday of the month, and then we pick out areas throughout Flint where we hear the heaviest traffic of crime and misbehavior is happening, and we go try to find who's at the root of it in that area, and we try to talk to them to make a change. And we work with them because it ain't gonna happen from one talk, but we work with them, and people don't see it, so people don't know that it's taking place. And people like to judge your success of what you're doing by numbers, but what we do can't be judged by numbers. You only can judge it by hope. The amount
Okay.
of hope you give people will determine how effective you are in making a change in the improvement of lives in your community.
Okay. So when people are, okay, say someone wants to make a donation, and even though you're doing these, you are have your name in the hat for these funds for this program, which I think is a great program that you're doing. Because I've been out a couple times with you all. When you did things, I haven't been out on a whole lot of them, but I have been out with you all. So I support. When these funds are coming in, or even if somebody wants to donate and they are asking like, what exactly would be going on? What do you plan on doing? What other things in this program do you plan on doing with the money, or any money that you get to support the program? What other things are you going to do besides that?
Okay, so right now it's two phases to the program. Phase one is the Man Up Youth Program, where 5 to 17-year-olds are trained with the knowledge of self, the knowledge of God, and the knowledge of the devil. And they're being taught self-love and how if they love themselves, they would easily love someone who looked like themselves, which is a form of crime prevention because it's hard to kill something that you love. So, and that takes place every Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the House of Capernaum, Pastor Leslie Lee Church, 3432 West Pasadena. And then phase two is the Peacekeepers Global Initiative program, where the Peacekeepers, we do conflict resolution training at Pastor Carl Arthur Church, 601 East Pasadena Avenue. And once you qualify through the training, you allow then to respond to conflicts and help squash beefs between warring factions. So those are two of the things that we will be doing. We do now on our own dollar, but with funding we can expand it, make it bigger. We can even come to neighborhood watches and give them the training to be able to better community, be community watch people in their neighborhoods and utilize conflict resolution um, and other programs that we have. But them the top two that we do right now. We have several other ones that we do, but them two are the main two right now.
In one or two of those programs, will that also be like self defense and the CPR program? Will that be in that as well?
Yes, ma'am. So you know about it because you attended some of them. So we do have self-defense. Uh, the women are trained by uh, Kiana Powell now, used to be Wheeler. She's married, from Double Dragons. She has a dojo on Linden Road, just off Corona Road. And the men receive training from a brother named Hakeem, who has offered his time and talent and gifts to train the men. The training would be a form of jujitsu or tang sudo. So jujitsu is Japanese style martial arts, and tang sudo is Korean. So, yep. And then CPR, um, we started it when the pandemic hit. So we were doing the written part and the lecture part online, and then the trainer would come and do a couple at a time, do the physical training. But now that we're open back up, uh, we'll be able to have one big class that can come in and do the physical part, where you learn how to do the CPR on the dummy and on the little baby, and how you do it, the most effective way to doing it. So yes, we have those, and then we have nonviolent intervention training for people who are willing to go out to intervene where violence may be taking place. You have to have training to know how to approach a situation or scene like that before you act on it, because you don't want to put yourself in harm's way by just having the enthusiasm to want to help, but not the training and proper means to help.
You out here with us? What you got to say, sir? Welcome to the show.
Brother D made it. I don't see his picture.
See him, Mickey. You on here with us?
Yeah,
I
he
see
on it here
both.
with us, but I don't see it like his picture ain't came up neither. It just say it let us know he here. I don't know
Yeah,
what it was.
I gave him permission.
Because Rich was on here with us too, but I couldn't hear him.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
maybe
you
that was the
gotta
thing with
when you
Brother D.
first come
Any
on, when you first come on, you gotta give permission for audio and video to be shown on this streaming, or it ain't gonna work.
Mhm.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
yeah. Brother D, if you can hear us, you need to go back
Yes.
and go get
Yeah.
permission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mickey, you got anything for Jaleel you'd like to
Yeah,
know or ask?
yes, I do. I was gonna ask him how did he like Savior's Day.
Absolutely. I was
Oh
going to ask that
man,
as well.
I wanted to get that
say
experience on that, brother, since you know they
man,
cut the
say
feed, right? You know they cut the feed, so we didn't get to hear them maybe
well
like the last 10
they
minutes.
they
Mm-hmm.
moved it around, so they barred the minister from YouTube, Facebook, and any platform that they control. So we ended up going to rumble.com and
Oh.
we did it from there. And because the minister was making statements like the Nation of Islam is against the government when it comes to the stance on vaccines or taking the shot, that's when a lot of the feeds start disconnecting
Mm-hmm.
and going offline.
Yeah.
Because even though they claim you have a First Amendment right to freedom of speech, that's really a cover up for if you don't talk the way we want you to talk, you don't have freedom. You only got freedom if you talk in a manner that's acceptable to us. So, Savior's Day was magnificent. I love one of the greatest highlights for me is when the minister said, "You are what you are in private. What you show to people in public, if you're not that way in private, you ain't nothing but an actor for Satan." And he
Mm-hmm.
says Satan got a lot of good actors who could
Mm-hmm.
win all kind of Academy Awards that lie every day. He said, but what you are in private is who you really are, not what you are in person if you're not the same person that you are in private. So that make a person really look at themselves and say, dang, the way I be acting when can't nobody see, would I act like that if they could see me? And if you wouldn't, then the real you is the one that people don't see, not the one that they do see.
You know what's so funny about that, Jaleel, is I say that all the time. I say people give you their representative every time you see them or you meet somebody. They give you their representative, and then when that finally that real person come out, you be like, goodness gracious! But people give you their representative all the time. You only got a handful of people that's gonna give it to you exactly like, hey, listen, because I'm that person. What you see is what you get. I always be like, you gonna take this cake by the pound, and I mean that. Like it is what it is. Jaleel, you don't see me outside of being on here and all of that. And I listen, it just is what it is. I am who I am. But there's a lot
Well,
of people that wear that mask that portray something differently. And then when you get them around somebody else, they have many, many, many masks, right? It's like they have that one where they with this group, they had that one with this group, they had that one where they
I
by
don't
themselves, they had
look.
that one with this one.
I,
It's crazy.
I'm telling you, with God love, I just can't do it. It's too much work to be faking. I, I mean, if I don't want to smile, I ain't smiling. If it ain't funny, I ain't laughing. If I don't agree with it, I ain't gonna agree just to get along. I mean, it's too hard to do all that because you got to remember all the different people you is every time you go around the different groups. So
It's a lot of
that's
work,
too much
sir. A
work.
lot of work.
No, that's too much work. You just be yourself. Either they accept it or they reject it. If they
At the end of the
reject
day,
it, then
who
you just
cares?
move on.
Yeah, because
You
that's
just
how I
move on.
feel. You either gonna love it or shove it. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You're
So
gonna love it or shove
so
it.
I love when the minister said that, and he talked about the swan song, which when you look it up, the swan song is a theatrical expression for a person who is giving their last and final address before retirement or before death. So everybody thought the minister was coming out to speak as if this was it. He resigning or he hanging up the. So he told everybody the swan song wasn't for me. It was for you. This your final warning. This your final address from God through me to tell you if you don't get it right, your behind is out of luck.
Mhm.
And I said, whoa. I said, oh, I should have knew it. Because there ain't no such thing in the nation. We don't teach that you can retire from this work. You die on your post. You take
Mhm.
this to the grave. Ain't no retirement for this work. You do this to death. So I was waiting on the twist, and when he said it, I understood what he was saying. If you study, scriptures, Nineveh was given a warning to the king, and he had a chance for the people to correct their behavior. And if they corrected their behavior, God would give them a reprieve from his judgment, which
Mhm.
he sent Jonah to Nineveh, and the king actually listened and was given, I believe, 100 and some more years before he came in and did his thing to him. But most people rejected the messenger and the message, and God said, okay, you done your job. Well done, my servant. Get out the way. My turn to handle business. And all you got to do is read Noah, read Moses, read any other Sodom and Gomorrah, any other people that was destroyed after they rejected warnings from the messenger. You will see the minister was saying this is the final one.
So
After
they got to
this,
go
I'm
to
not giving.
Like how you
Genesis.
said, I like how you said, I like that, I like that this work is nothing that you retire from. When you get into this work is this work, and is you die on your post. There are so many people that need to understand that, because they want to get into activism, because right now it's kind of like it looked like the cool thing to do, right? Not knowing that this
Yeah,
work is just like this work is really work, and you got to put it in for it, and you got to put all of this work into it, and it's not an end to it. It's always gonna be work to do. There's no end to it. So you saying that there is no retirement, there's no you die on your post. That's like, man, I'm telling you, people really need to understand that, and they get into it because it's the cool thing to do right now. Everybody hollering Black Lives Matter, so they all want to get into it or whatever. Um, you know, want to be
look,
behind, like the
look,
football players and all of that, only for a moment, and then when it's not fashionable anymore, then they want to be out of it. It doesn't work like that.
show no. And look, opera dollars on brought out all of the organization.
When you just
I said,
you just
Lord,
blew my mind with 59 different organizations talking about they want gun crime and gun violence. What the hell, where y'all been? We
well,
ain't
I'm gonna
just
tell them,
get into
Moses.
this situation.
I'm gonna do like the minister. I'm gonna give them a warning and tell them, don't court with death, playing with the people's lives, because you want to get out here and play gun violence and crime prevention, but you just really trying to find a way to get some funding, and you sit up and you go out there and mess with them young people, and you agitate them and aggravate them, and then you walk off with the money in your pocket. You're going to create a worse environment than you got. And you don't want to play with God's people acting like you going to help them. Either you help them or leave them alone. It's that simple. Help them or leave them alone.
I got a question for you. There's 50, so according to this, there's 59 different organizations into the same doing the same thing, or trying to get into this same work that you guys have clearly been already doing and established, right? What can we do, and how can we community and unify this? And so these 59 groups including yourself, becomes 60 groups, and it's not 60 of them, it's just one. What do we do? Because we talk about unity, and we talk about, you and I have talked about this before, about unity and solidarity and all of that. What do we do? What do we do? How do we get to that point, Jaleel?
Well, first, one of the first things we got to do is those of us who signed on to do this work have to be less ego driven, less envious, and more loving, and have a self love. It seems like to me that all the adult people who claim that they know themselves and they know who they are, their actions show otherwise. It seems like they suffering like the people in the streets that don't know themselves by the way they treat each other and act towards one another. Because if you know yourself, to know self is to know God. And God is the manifestation of truth and love. And if truth and love is coming from the person who expressing the help in the community, there's no way you couldn't unite with anybody else that is expressing truth and love, because truth is one. Perspective of the truth is many, but truth is one. And ain't but one truth in the entire universe, but it's billions of perspectives of the truth.
Said
So
this
that's
life.
how I believe we can.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead, go for it.
I was just saying that's how I believe one of the ways we can unify even these all these different groups is somebody say, let me step aside and bring my benefits and what I have to offer to the groups that's already existing, and let's make them better. So if Sister Satara got a crime prevention group, I'm not going to create a wheel for a wheel that's already turning. I'm going to come ask, how can I make your wheel stronger and better and improve by offering you my talents, gifts, and whatever I can spare my finance to help. And I don't need a name on the wall or a title on the board. I just want to see some work getting done. And that's really what it's going to take, people who willing to do the work, but never worry about getting a pat on the back, a hand clap, an award, or even finance. Sometimes you just got to do it on faith, knowing that a righteous God will even it out and reward us somewhere down the road. But we have to just do it, just not expecting nothing. And a lot of people can't do that. They suffer from post-traumatic slave disorder, the
There's
slave
something there.
mentality. The
Mm-hmm.
slave mentality makes black people want to be something to one another. But I'm going to say this and then let you respond. I was always told, I was listening, my mama taught me about Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. And on one of the songs they got, it's a song called Be For Real. And it's when, Harold Melvin and Blue, he talking to his wife, telling her, she ain't being real the way she doing things. And one of the things she was doing was she was going around poor black people wearing furs, driving Benzes, and talking about what she got and what they ain't got. And he was like, please, be for real. How you gonna go around poor people acting like you rich? Go around rich people and act like you rich. Anybody can go around poor people and act like they got something. So I look at that as when we start these organizations to try to help, we want to flaunt and floss on people who we think we can be something in their eyes or to the people's eyes to make us feel good because we got some insecurities going on. We got some inner problems that we ain't dealt with yet. We need to deal with. And we use all these outlets to try to make ourselves feel good rather than just try to strive to be who God intended us to be. be when he created us.
I agree. I know that I, for me, I feel the same way. I feel that the in order to get some unity and some solidarity, we definitely have to let ego go. Ego has to be. We have to really let ego go, and it can't be all these big I's and little U's. We all have to be able to work together, and like you said, not reinventing the wheel. I just feel like if we start this out in a little car and everybody bring a wheel, eventually we'll have an 18 wheeler, right? What's better than that?
That's right.
What's
That's
better
right.
than that? But I just think that people just can't let the ego go, and they can't let the the photo ops and all of these things go, because that bothers me. Like, that drives me crazy. Like, I'm not that person. Like, I really don't care. I'm not the person that wants to take pictures all the time and feel like I got to get a picture
Right.
with you just to say that I know you, or I've been somewhere with you, or whatever the case may be. Because like you always be saying, like, the revolution won't be televised, right? But why do we want
Right.
to be in that kind of spotlight anyway? Like, the work that you have to do is not going to be in the spotlight. Darius commented, and he said, this is life commitment type of work. When God has chosen you, you work until he says you're done. And then he also says that there are too many shepherds and not enough sheep. I absolutely agree with that. And I think
He
that
correct.
and I think that's another problem, is that we can't decide that we can all, I mean, because the mission is the same, the goal is the same, and if we both have the same mission and the same goal, there's no reason why we can't come together and we can't work this thing together. I don't
I
understand
agree.
it. I don't even
I always
understand how Flint is this type of, it's not like it's a huge city, you know.
right.
It's not like we Dallas or Houston. I don't understand how there's 59. How the hell did 59 groups even pop up in here doing all of this? Where,
I
what?
don't know where they came
I
from,
would love to see the
but I
list.
but I know
List.
this. I want to see it too. But I know this. I always looked at. Some people think having more is better. I never seen it like that. I always looked at having all these churches in Flint. To me, shows the greatest form of division of the mindset of the church, because everybody can't preach the word, because
Yeah,
many are called but only few are chosen.
absolutely.
But we got 383 churches in a 36 square mile area. And most of the churches started from people who was in a big church, got tired of being second fiddle, and said they got a calling from God, and went and started their own church. And then the churches won't even fellowship with each other. I don't know how you can read out of the
Oh,
same book,
oh
right? The
my goodness
same book,
gracious.
but you don't get along with the other people who read out of that book. That don't make no sense to me whatsoever. I just
Mm,
don't get it. I
yeah,
don't understand at all. In the
yeah.
nation, we fellowship all over the world. If you read the Quran, we fellowship. We fellowship with the church. But the church may not want to fellowship with us, but we fellowship with anybody who read the word that's trying to make a change for a positive direction. I just don't get how a pastor won't fellowship with this pastor, because this pastor used to go to his church. He left, started his own church. So now they beefing like Crips and Bloods and gangster disciples and vice lords. But then they turn around and tell you, don't beef, bring your life to Jesus and change it over to do what is right. I mean, it's that's why the young people can't stand religion. They can't stand it. We talk to them. You can't go out there talking to them about no religion. They can't stand it. And it ain't because religion is bad. It's because the people who
It's the
represent it in a
leadership.
terrible way.
It's absolutely the leadership. Now, I'm glad you said that, because it's the leadership. It's the leadership in those places, church, And it's also the leadership of the city. We have that same issue with the leadership. It's the leadership. Now, I I don't know if you I don't even know if you remember this, but I know it's been quite a few years ago. But Jaleel, that's how you and I met. You came to my church. That's how you and I met. It was quite a few years ago when you came to Second Chance. And DA
Oh yeah,
introduced us to each other. That's how you and I first met.
yeah.
Fellowship
I
and just
came.
like that.
Yeah, I think that was before the pandemic hit.
Oh yeah, that
Uh,
was quite a while
I
before the pandemic hit. This probably
yep,
was
I
about
came.
probably about 6 years ago now, Jaleel.
Yeah, I came up there to help. I was helping him do something. he
You actually
he
came to a
always.
service. This when
You
I
know,
met you, it was actually at a service.
yeah, he invited me, but we was doing the water.
Yeah.
Me and him was doing the water giveaway together, and we was getting water from Judge Mathis and giving it away
Yeah.
at the school. And we started doing that together from 20. We started together in 2016 and went all the way to 2018 doing that. Matter of fact, early 2019, we were doing that together. And you know, I work. I open up myself to work with any person, religion, activist, atheist. It don't matter who you is. If you try to do something to help improve the quality of life of our community, and I know you sincere, I'll work with you. I don't care about your personal life and your personal relationship with whoever you follow and believe, because I can't do nothing about it anyway.
Yeah.
That's between you and your higher power.
Hmm.
The Bible and Quran is specific when it say, no man or woman can bear the burden of the soul of another man or woman. You can't bear whatever is for you is for you. Whatever is for me is for me. If I don't take it, you can't make me take it, and you can't give it to me. I have to choose it. So we say in the Quran, God doesn't change the condition of a people till they learn to change themselves and their own souls. And many people are not in the business of soul changing right now. They're in the business of patronizing Satan, making wrong fair seeming, being involved in all kind of filth, like a pig wallowing in mud. And when you bring it up to them and try to offer them something better than the mud and the pig, they say you judging them, you hating them. And I say that's Satan, because Satan said he gonna make right seem wrong and wrong fair seeming to the people. So if you say something wrong, they're gonna say you wrong and they right, and then they're gonna bring a bunch of people to debate and argue. And what you learn in the end is that there's only one truth, but there's thousands of perspectives of the truth. So that's what I've been learning about people. So I don't really get in arguments no more. I try to understand your perspective, see how it coincides with my perspective, and see if you're willing to find a meeting ground where we can agree and move forward. And if we can't, we just disagree and move forward. And if we can't move forward, we disagree and depart and go our
Hmm.
separate ways.
So tell me, from your perspective, where was the ball drop from the city? Where did we lose the city? Where was the ball drop?
The ball was dropped when Uncle Pookie, cousin Ray Ray, Mama Janet, and Daddy Joe didn't install order in their homes to keep their bad children from coming out in the community causing chaos and mischief. That's
Okay.
where it started.
Okay.
We never had order in the community, never. Even when they freed us from slavery, we didn't have order. We had a form of organization, but we never had order.
Hmm.
Order works like this. The first law in the universe is motion. Right after motion, the second law of the universe is order. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because without order, motion moves erratically, chaotically, having no aim and purpose. It just goes. Well, that's what happened in the black community. We gave up order. There's no established rules or laws of conduct to keep us in check. And the adults that's over the children and the youth, because they don't have no order in them, they bringing up disorderly children. And they running rampant in the community, and that's where it started. Now, once that happened, the politicians and the governments who claim they're going to go in and help fix it and make it better and produce some type of outcome that would be beneficial to the community, now because they threw their hat in the ring and said they would do that
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't do it, now we have to look at them with a critical eye and say, look, now you just as bad as the people who messed up in the beginning, because now you came in with your stuff and you ain't do what you said you was going to do. Now we in a worse condition than we were before, because now we got to worry about raising the parents to the right mentality to raise the children, and then raise the children to do what the parents would have them to do, and then deal with the politicians and all the people who gave these false hopes and false narratives for change. We got to root that out, because people become docile once you promise them a bunch of promises and never come through. Now they look at you like an absentee father who always say, I'll be there to get my baby this week, and don't show up and call on the phone. Something came up, and they never go get their children and spend time with them. That's what
What do
ended
we
up
do?
happening.
So what do we do, Jaleel? How do we get our communities back? How do we get the city back? Do we segregate ourselves? Do we police our own neighborhoods? From your perspective, where do we get it back?
First thing we got to do is establish order in self. We got to go look in the mirror, see where we're out of order, where we're not in line with the restrictive laws that would keep us in line with the God. And then we must strengthen and firm, make ourselves firm. And then we take that and put on the whole armor of God, as the scriptures say, and we go out and we try to each one, reach one, teach one the knowledge of self, and we'll start to see a change. And the black community is like no other community on the planet. We're the only people that suffer from lack of knowledge of self. So we can't say what we want to do is for everybody. Because every time we talk only about helping black people, here come a black person talking about, well, we for all people. No, all people don't suffer from knowledge of self. All people don't suffer from self-hate and violence towards one another because they don't have knowledge of self and they hate themselves so much. Everybody don't suffer that. Only we do. All over the earth. Only black folks do. You ain't gonna meet a Chinese that don't know what Chinese people is, they root, where they come from, their heritage. You won't meet a Japanese. You won't meet a Korean. You won't meet a Jew. You won't. The only person you gonna meet, and you ask them who they are, they go, I'm a nigga. Where niggas come from? The white man. He made niggas doing slavery. But if you say you a God, you got black people talking about you ain't no God when the scripture said we are. Psalms
Absolutely.
82, verse 6. Ye are all gods, children
Yes,
of the most high God.
absolutely.
So we are God. We gods. And if we start to teach our youth that they gods and that they come from God, and if God is in them, they can reach inside themselves and bring God out of them,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll start to see more godly works being done in the community. But until then, we can have 50 powwow meetings, add more police, we can throw $1 trillion at gun violence and crime, it ain't gonna stop. People gotta realize gun violence comes from the mind, it doesn't come from the neighborhood. The neighborhood produced the condition, but the mind produced the thought. Because you got people in the community that's bad, that don't choose to use guns to solve problems, and they in poverty and they struggling. But it's a mentality that teaches the youth to kill something that looks like them. When they hate themselves, it's easy to kill something that look like them.
Mhm.
But when you love yourself, think of this. Have you ever heard a person that love themselves say to you, I'm going to go kill this cat that I love because I don't, he did this, that, and the other. People don't talk like that. People say, I'm going to kill one of these ops. I'm going to kill this nigga. He just did this on Facebook. He just did this in the DMs to my girl. They talk in language that represent death. But God came to give us life and life abundantly. And if we choose life and choose to have life abundantly, we'll see changes in our community because it starts with the mind. That's why I sent you that tape by Gil Scott Heron
Mhm.
explaining what he meant by the revolution would not be televised. It don't mean people won't see the change of the condition from bad to good physically when we go out to make the change. What it means is people won't see your mind going from Satan to God because it's happening internally and you can't see it.
Yeah.
So the first revolution is the revolution of self, changing your mind and your thinking to be in line with the Creator. And then after that
You're right.
revolution, then you unite with those who have went through that revolution to go out and revolutionize the community to change it to that type of way of living.
Yeah. You're absolutely
Right. And not only is, you know, we have to
you have to speak life.
life as well as, like, know that there's power in it. We have to speak it. We can't just we speak too much death. We speak too much negativity. We have to make sure that we speak in life. um I think that is one of the things that is an issue too, because we speak so many. Not only is it that these children and us as adults, we have to see it. We see it on TV, we hear it on the news, and then you go out in the world and that's what they're doing too. They're just speaking all this negativity and nobody is speaking life, right? And it's so much power in the words that we have. And especially these children, they are little sponges. And so if all we're giving them is this negativity and speaking all this death, then that's all they're gonna know, and that's all they're gonna continue to speak. And so it's gonna continue to be a dark cloud everywhere because that's all that we're putting out. We have to
That's
change the
right.
narrative. We have to change the narrative. We have to change the way that we are speaking to these children. We have to change the way that we are speaking to each other, even as
That's right.
adults. We
I
have to
say,
change it. We have to. It's our mindset. We have to change our mindset.
so one of the responsibilities for those of us who know that is when someone comes to us with negative news, like somebody tried to come to me about what happened at council with Eric Mays last night. Instead of me responding and having an answer, what I did was said that we all have internal flaws that we must work out in order to be able to judge someone for the flaws they have. I said, until we can make changes in ourselves to remove the iniquities of our own inner doings, the iniquities of others shouldn't be a topic of conversation unless we're coming up with solutions, resolutions, proposals, or
Absolutely.
ideas to help that person deal with their
Absolutely.
problem. And I said, that's not an excuse for behavior that's wrong. What it is saying, I'm tired of hearing all the reports of negativity, but you never hear a report of good.
But at
So
what
you do
Point.
good, yeah.
but at what
What point? See, I'm with you with that, and I hate that because I'm at the place now when people come to me with those things like that.
what point?
are you going to stop talking about him and talking at him and talk to him and say, hey, look, Eric, you can't keep letting them bait you like that. You got to learn some. You got to learn some self control. And not only do you have to learn some self control, you got to learn some discernment, right? You got to learn the
Right.
discernment. You got to pick your battles in order to win the war. You can't fight all of them. It's only one of you. And at what point are we? Somebody gonna go to him and say, "Hey, what's going on? Is it something going on? Is it something you need? How can I help you? How can I even help you in not going off like that or not doing this? Because it ain't like he not smart and he don't know his stuff, But you can't let him bait you to that. So at what point is somebody gonna come to him and say those things? And not even only to him. He's just an example right now, but to anybody. And you have those, and so that's your answer to it. You're just gonna continue to talk about this person. That's not the answer. At
Because it's
what
not gonna
point
change nothing.
are we going
If you
exactly? At what point are we gonna
if
do
you get
something
on
different?
Flint, if you get on Flint Politics Reboot
No, thank
and
you.
you use all these adjectives to explain his behavior, how's those adjectives become action items to reverse his behavior to make the next meeting better? And if you waste time and energy and oxygen and air with all them adjectives that won't do anything, then what you're really saying is you want to be a crab in the bucket. Whenever you see somebody down, if they try to come up, you want to pull them back in with you.
Yeah.
It would be better to feel, rather than to feel good about being able to talk about a person when they're in their lowest point. It would be better to remember all of the elders used to tell us, when it all comes down, look for me, I'll still be around. That means the
So,
same people you see going up, you're going to see them
yeah.
same people coming down,
You
and they'll
sure enough
still be
will.
around. So
You sure
I'm
enough
not
will.
going to get on him when he in his lowest state of his mind. That's
Mm-hmm.
when he in the greatest need of help from God.
Absolutely.
Those that's so high up and so on their dean, so straight up and vertical that they don't need help from the Lord, then good for them. But we in the business of working with those who are laying horizontal. Those that are vertical don't need our help.
So in closing, Jaleel, so I can let you go on and get your work done because I see we holding you up a little bit. In closing, give me three action items that we all can do to start going forward to get things back on track.
Okay, action item number one, propagate self-love through the extension of love and assistance to those who are doing things in the community. So in other words, if Brother Darius is doing something and he's having an event to help deal with youth,
Mm-hmm.
then if I know about it, I share it and spread it. I don't keep it to myself because he ain't exactly in my group or my exact circle of people, so I'm not gonna propagate what he doing. If he
Mm-hmm.
doing anything of good, we should propagate it and say and let people know about it. I
Yeah.
find that to be one of the biggest things in the city of Flint is you meet people in the streets and you ask them do they know about this and that and they don't know, but 2 blocks away is where the resources at, but they ain't saying them because the people who talk to them ain't in tune with the people 2 blocks away, so they won't tell them about
Mm-hmm.
it. And then so that's number one. Action item number two is we need now understand what I mean by this. We need to separate and get our own. That don't mean leave the state, leave the city, leave the country. What it means is separate our minds from the minds of the people who established this country, separate from their schools, separate from their foods, separate from their medical facilities, separate from their colleges, any place where they establish their way of life, which has racism and white supremacy rooted in it. We need to separate from it and establish our own in all them areas and do for ourselves. That's action item number 2. And the last but not least, action item number 3 is we need to just be kind and do good to all people. It don't cost you nothing to smile and say good morning, how you doing, or peace be unto you. It don't cost you a penny to do that and just be kind to people. You'll be amazed. You talk to the roughest, hardest guy on the streets who running around like a maniac with an AK-47 and can't nobody get to him. And when you get close to him, you smile and you say, how you doing, young brother? Can I speak to you for a second if you don't mind? Or what you want to talk about, man? Oh, brother, I just want to let you know that you're a king and a god. Have you ever been told that before? And do you know it worked? I'm telling you, I ain't met nobody hardcore yet that didn't let their guards down when we did this, when we came across to them like that. All of them break down and start talking to you. We had 100% on that one. All of them talk to you. So that would be number 3 for me. And actions and deeds, not words and lip service, is what those of us who want to do the work have to require of those who want to help us in doing it. And you do need to have a time where you meet, talk, prepare, throw ideas, and then put them into action items to go to work on them. And then you do need to have a powwow, downtime powwow, to inspire and strengthen one another to keep doing the work, because this work is hell on you. So it'll take you out.
It's definitely heavy, Doc. You ain't lying. It's heavy, Doc.
But what we don't need is 10 meetings in 1 week with 1,000 ideas and no ideas ever reach the people.
Oh, my Lord. You done said something there, sir.
I agree with that.
You done said something there, sir. Well, Jaleel, I absolutely appreciate you joining us and getting on here. You know, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You know, we can go on and on. You know, you and I done talked for some hours and hours before, but I ain't gonna hold you today. You know, because I know you got some work to do.
You know what? You know what, Jaleel? He couldn't get his on. I don't know what it was. He couldn't get his on. It wouldn't come on. It would seem like it was trying.
Tell him one of the other action items is we got to get rid of Boost Mobile and all that. We got to get real phones.
I think that's what happened to Rich.
Hey, Jaleel, that's what I told him. I said, y'all see what Obama did how Obama played us on the water. You think he wasn't gonna play y'all on that damn phone?
That's what I think happened to Brother Rich. It was up in here, but this one, you know, this a whole different program. So this one don't hook up like the old one did. So you got to upgrade that phone.
They got to get the real deal.
Better believe it. I was going to get you in trouble.
I see Brother Darius.
No, I was going to get you in trouble, Jaleel.
Too many is the problem. Yep, Brother Jaleel, too much division. I see that.
Yeah, I was going to get you in trouble, Jaleel, but I ain't going to mess with it, man. I ain't going to mess with it. I was going to ask you about the Ukraine, but I don't want us to lose the little followers we got.
Don't do it. Mickey, don't do it. Mickey, don't do it. Jaleel, don't you answer that. Don't you dare answer. Hey, listen, I'm cutting everybody off. Don't you do it.
I'm not going to say nothing.
Okay.
I want y'all to keep y'all show.
Okay, no, listen, we can, pull up on us and talk about it. Don't do it right here.
I ain't saying nothing.
Okay, pull up on us and talk about it. Don't do it right here.
I'm good. I said you didn't fall for it because I was going to ask him, but I was like, that would be the end of the lie. They was going to cut this
to tell you the truth, To tell you the truth, Ricky, you you know in the Bible, in the book of John, Jesus was talking to the disciples after he had risen from the crucifixion. And he was telling the disciples, there's many things that I could tell you now, but you are not ready for them.
Right.
But he, the Spirit of truth, when he come, he will guide you to all things. I wouldn't speak on the Ukraine right now because people are not ready to hear the truth. They rather be lied to and smoothed over and told stuff that, tickle the ear.
Right.
And so I wouldn't say nothing about it right now, or anyway, no matter who asks me, because you have to wait until the time is right. When the people are woke up enough to where somebody can say something, and then people won't take it as you being this or that, or you being negative, or you ain't showing no empathy or sympathy. You got to wait till that time is right. So Ecclesiastes say there's a time and a place for everything. It's a time to kill. It's a time to heal. It's a time to plant. It's a time to uproot. So this ain't the time right now. It's too early in the game. It's too much rigmarole going on, and you say something now, you think they'll cancel you for talking about the shot.
Right.
Say something about that, and you're gonna see some black suits and white shirts at the door knocking.
I ain't got time for it. I'm telling you.
We're gonna let that be. Yeah.
On that note, brother, I'm done with it.
I got enough shit going on in Flint. I don't need the feds coming to me too now.
Right.
Damn,
I don't want to tell on everybody. I don't want to have to tell.
No. But Jaleel, as always, we appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming on and talking to us. We'll have to do it again. Maybe another time when you're not so busy, we can sit down. We be going back face to face. You can come and sit down with us.
To tell the truth, the best time is after 6:30. To come on the show, I usually be free after 6:30.
Perfect. I'm gonna
put you at 7 next time.
Yeah, them good times for me. I'm able free then, but it went good though, because I actually got to. I got it done. It's up there. Yeah. So. Yep. So I appreciate y'all though, cause I will say this, and I don't care how nobody feels.
Come on with it.
I like the way y'all will invite anybody to talk on your platform, no matter if you agree or disagree with the person and how they live their life and do certain things, you still will bring them on. And that's a testimony. That's a testimony to the fact that you've grown and understand that knowledge is nothing without an understanding, because you can't wisely apply it if you don't understand it.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate it, because other folks won't let me on their platform just because I'm a Muslim in the nation. And I used to tell them, what can I say to change people who follow you and believe in you if I come on your platform that you feel so intimidated that I'll make a change in them? Is it the truth? Because the only thing should make a person change and run from a person is if the person they find out they've been lying to them all their life, and now they got the truth and they want to go with the truth. Other than that, you shouldn't be afraid to let somebody on your platform come and speak. You should have enough security in yourself and the truth and the Lord that you're going to be all right. Can't nobody move you.
And Jaleel, that's where I'm at. I'm Switzerland. I ain't picking no sides on nothing. I'm picking my own side. And I have discernment, and I do enough research for my own self to know things for myself, right? And so me allowing everybody and anybody to come to the platform just give me another perspective on how someone else thinks. And right. They may know something that I don't know. Knowledge is power. And somebody has a little bit more knowledge than me. And so I am willing to let anybody and everybody and come and speak that piece on whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, like you said, I'm secure enough in myself to know that what I believe and what I stand on is going to be exactly it. And you're not going to sway me one way or the other unless we come to an agreement and we are thinking the same way, because I don't know if you think the same way of me or not if I don't allow you to have your peace, right?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So in closing, I did want to say this to all of the black groups, activists, preachers, concerned pastors, people who say they for change and improvement in the communities in Flint. There is a difference in unity and uniformity. It's a big difference. It seems like people want uniformity, but they don't want unity. Uniformity is you think like me, act like me, dress like me, look like me, and we can work together. But unity is you come from the left, I come from the right, we meet in the middle and we move forward together.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference. And I noticed that from working with different people. If you don't dress like them, look like them, talk like them, and act like them, they don't want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do, then they'll work with you. Now, and I always say, how can you help a diverse people in the city if everybody the same? It ain't no one person just like another person on the planet, period. You may have some similarities, but every person on the planet is different from the next person. How you know? Because God set it up that not one man or woman have the same fingerprint design on their hand. Even if you twins, triplets, you still got a different design of fingerprints on your hand, which represents everybody has their own design from the Creator.
Yeah.
So I don't want Satara to become like me just to work with me. I want Sister Satara to agree on the mission, and we work the mission together. And that's all you got to do. You can stay whoever you want to be, but agree to work on the mission together, and let's move out. And that's unity, not uniformity.
I agree.
And our politicians they believe in uniformity, not unity. You know, and that's why I don't deal with politics too much, because in my humble opinion, Satan created politics, and you can't get good out of evil. Even if you have some good experiences that may occur, I tell people all the time, Satan rewards people. It's in the scripture. He tried to reward Jesus, but Jesus couldn't be tempted. So they let you know he had power to give. He told Jesus, he took him up on the mountain and said, look down there. You see all that? I can give it to you if you just bow to me. And Jesus turned and looked and said, you cannot tempt the Lord, your Lord thy God. So that lets you know he got power to give you gifts, to give you good homes, cars, luxury, money, and you will say, well, God blessed me, but Satan gave it to you.
Oh, like the NBA then and the NFL. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, you'll know who it came from if you look at the root behind it.
No, if you really go, not to cut y'all off, if you go back and listen to what Donald Sterling said, Donald Sterling made a lot of sense when he was talking, even though he got tricked. Old girl recorded him for just what you said when he said, I feed them, I clothe them, I give them money. He wasn't lying. He owned the team. He signed their paychecks.
That's right. Now, Philip Lee or Philip Lai said, same with experience. 100 people can live through the exact same stuff the same way, and each of them translated their own way. That's true.
It's perception.
It's perception, and your perception is and perception is reality. So your perception is your reality. My perception is my reality. Philip's perception is his reality. But at the end of the day, we all should be able to come together and talk about it. So everybody's perception, even it's semantics. Semantics. You saying potato, I'm saying potato. You saying tomato, I'm saying tomato. It's semantics, right? But we won't know that if we don't get together and we don't talk about it, or we won't know that if we don't allow someone that's not like us to come and talk to us, right? Or to even have a seat at the table. We won't know that.
And my thing
Yeah.
is, everybody got to be at the table to represent their people. Like I told the mayor when he had that meeting with all of the religious leaders, and I was invited. When I stood up to talk, everybody that was there tell you, I said, instead of me speaking on what they was talking on, I said, you can't have a meeting and you didn't invite a Latino from the Latino community to represent them. And I even took it to a point that they looked at me with awe, because I said, you can't have a meeting and you don't have an Aryan nation or a white supremacist member here to represent their people over on the east side of Flint. You have to have a representative for all people who live in the city of Flint at the table to represent their people. You can't have one group of people to represent all the diverse and differences of the people in the city.
Because
It
at the
don't
end
work
of the
like
day,
that.
It's inclusion, and that's what they talk about. And even though like these new grants and things that they want to put out, and they say everybody has to be a part of. So it's inclusion. And so if inclusion is the thing, and we're gonna use the word inclusion, and people are gonna continue to use the word inclusion when they have to write these things out and they have to invite people in. So inclusion involves the Latinos, the Jewish, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Vietnamese, the black people, the white people, the Muslims, the nation, the Sunni Muslims,
Everybody got to have
everybody,
somebody there.
everybody has to have
Now,
something.
if they
But
turn you down, if you offer them and they don't want to come, that's different.
that's totally different.
it has to be offered.
Has to be offered because uh,
Absolutely.
I know for a fact that you can't go on Ohio and Franklin with that 50-foot Confederate flag at, and you talk to them about trying to improve the environment where they at, and they gonna listen to you. So you
Absolutely
gotta
not.
have one of their representatives come and meet at the
Definitely.
table with everybody else, and he take it back to them, and he talk to them, and they listen to that person.
But
And even with that said, you have to have a representative that's willing to come and willing to sit down and talk and to listen as well. You can't just you just can't bring that person in there that ain't gonna listen and just gonna come in there and pushing their own agenda, right? It has to be the person that's gonna come and they're gonna listen and talk. But we have to get to that. We got some work to do. We definitely have some work to do. I can definitely
Yeah,
say
but
that.
we gonna get there, cause
We
cause
definitely get there.
my new line is this:
Mm.
this old world is going out, and the new world is coming in, and we got next.
Right. I
You know
agree
how they
with
be
that.
on the court. We got next. So the old
Absolutely.
rulers, they out of here. The old government is out of here. The old way of living is out of here. So those of us trying to establish the new kingdom, we got
Mm.
next. So you get you a shirt to say we got next, and they say, well, what you mean? You play basketball? I said, no, I got next and ruling this world, this new
Mm.
kingdom. I got next. We got next.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling all the young people. You got next.
Yeah.
Is this for you now? Everything you see and getting established is for you. Prepare yourself to get next. You got next.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I think that is a great place to end it. I appreciate you again. So anytime, God, whenever you ready to come back on, it's all good. We ready. We anything you got to say, you got some new things that's coming up. Make sure you keep us abreast of the situation so we can continue to put it out to the people as well. So just
Okay.
keep us informed,
Uh,
keep us involved.
the only thing I know is Miss Jawan Kerrigan will be at the new Cody's restaurant this Saturday, March 5th, from 2 to 5, singing live in the restaurant, and I guess you can get you something to eat and too and all that.
Okay.
She sent me the flyer earlier today. Uh, so I don't. Somebody told me it's under new ownership. Uh,
Oh
I'm not
wow.
Maybe
sure
I'll
what's
go
going
back.
on,
I
but
had an incident from the last ownership, but we'll talk
yeah,
about that
somebody
on
told me
another
it's
show.
under new ownership, and she gonna be there Saturday, and I guess she gonna be singing live while people eating.
Oh, that'll be
You know what?
smooth.
I'm gonna reach out to her. I got her number. That's my friend. I love her dearly. So I'm gonna reach out
Yeah,
to her and
yeah,
see what
yeah.
that's all about and make sure that
She can sing.
I speak on that.
If,
Yes, she
if
can.
the black folks say she can sing,
She can
she
sing.
can
Yeah,
Oh, well, then
sing.
yeah,
she can
she can
sing.
sing.
Then
Yeah,
when they take it
she
with a sang,
yeah, she
Yeah,
did
you
me a
can
solid.
sing.
She sang out my grandmother's funeral. I'll forever be grateful to her for that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Shoot.
yeah. So, any closing words that you have, Mickey?
no, I don't. I'm gonna play your outro on the way going out. You know.
Only closing words that I have is that again, uh thank you, King Jaleel. I appreciate you, God. You're always welcome.
Appreciate you.
Anytime I have anything going on, you always welcome. Keep me abreast. I support you in the nation always. Everybody, y'all continue to support Jaleel and Brother D with the Peacekeepers, the Man Up Peacekeepers. Please support them and continue to support. I don't know about them other 59 groups. I don't know shit about none of that. I can't. I listen. Somebody send me a list of them, and
Yep.
I send me a list, and I'll see if
And
see if I
it to me.
see if I somebody please send me a list. If y'all got a list of them 59 groups that's fighting crime and gun violence, please send it to me because I want to see it. Listen, y'all be thinking I be being funny when I be talking about that, but I really want to see this list. I want to know. I want to reach out to them, and maybe we can all get together and we can do something together because I've worked with Jaleel. I don't have a problem with working with nobody else if it's legit. So if somebody got that list, please send it all over to me. Y'all send it to
Yeah.
me. And Jaleel, if I get it, I'm gonna send it to you. We gonna work together with
Send
this.
it to me.
We gonna get it
I,
together. Yeah.
I want to talk to them and see where they was at when the young
I,
boy got shot on Cloverline and was laying by the gate, and we was looking for some people to help us find out who did it, and all we seen was DeWine showed up, uh, Sister Thompson came, brother Rodney came, brother D came,
Yeah.
but I mean, shoot, with 59 groups, we should have had the whole block swole up with people.
So
it's slow. Stay is
And,
slow.
and
Yep.
and we found out who did the murder. Now here's a kicker: we found out who did the murder before we left the street. The family
Wow.
knew who killed their son. Ain't that
Philip,
something?
Philip said he can find them if he know what they're about. Philip. So it's supposedly it's 59 groups that are trying to get in on this ARPA money for they say that they
Gun
are
violence and
fighting
crime
crime and
and
gun
violence.
violence. So if you can find out those 59 groups and get them to me, I'll be forever grateful to you, God. I appreciate you. So with
Yeah,
that said, my last and closing words is I want to say is y'all listen again, support the Man Up Peacekeepers, support Black Lives Matter, and all the work that they're doing. And yes, they are applicants, Philip. So and support these groups that are really out here doing the work. Please keep supporting the Water Warriors. Um, Listen, and y'all just take care of each other.
that's right.
get some
Discernment and start being unified. Start working with people and not against people
Right.
because we all have the same mission. We're supposed to all be about the same mission. So everybody, let's get on one accord. Let's get unified. Let's get some solidarity. Let's get some solidarity as Black people and just get with the mission and take our city back. We just really need to do that. Take care of yourselves. Make sure that you are taking care of your mental health, take care of your physical health. Make sure that you are eating the right things, you are drinking the right things. Make sure that you are even just sitting back and just taking a breather when you need to. Everybody has to do that. So take care of yourself. That's the first thing. Make sure you take care of yourself and then get some knowledge. Get in these books. When Jaleel and everybody else get to talking about some of these things, make sure you do the research and know for yourself. Don't just take somebody else's word for it. Know these things for yourself. With that being said, we are going to end it out. I love you all. Peace and blessings. Y'all continue to lift each other. Pray for each other as I will for you. Peace out.
Peace out.
Yeah, it should be done now.
A lot better.